Welcome back. I am so excited to dig in today with an incredible woman. And she is one of those people, you're about to find out why she's created so much beauty in her life from so much that she's experienced, as we do, right? It's almost like our karma becomes our dharma. And she's one of those incredible souls that just lights up the room the second she walks into it. So I'm really excited to dig into today with Elizabeth Aylor. She is absolutely incredible. She's a holistic nutritionist, helping women over 40 build muscle, lose fat, and restore their gut and hormones, all while eating more food. How amazing does that sound, right? It sounds absolutely incredible. And what I absolutely love about Elizabeth too is she is so true to her heart. And she's one of those people she's built this massive following. She's got 800,000 followers across social platforms, maybe even more. I was just doing a little bit of like behind the scenes, like, oh my goodness, but you've built community from your heart. You're truly sharing so much beauty from your heart space. And I'm just so grateful to have her here with us today to talk about her personal journey of how she really got into this business that she's created. And she's really reimagined her own health and how that has actually created this beautiful business that is impacting thousands and thousands of women. So, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here to just dig into some really powerful topics today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for that. And just so kind introduction. Seriously.
Yeah, of course. It's all true. So I'm so excited. Yes, if you could just dial it back to sometimes we need this like spiritual awakening to really get us to drop into our most, I guess you could say like our deepest vitality. So dial it back to those struggles that you were experiencing, both, let's say, personally, and then we'll talk a little bit about the business too, and how that ended up being this catalyst for what you created. But I'd love to know about that personal journey of just dialing it back to what were you experiencing that had you kind of wake up to, okay, this isn't working for me?
So would you like me to take you from day one where it all began?
Sure. Yeah. Whatever feels intuitively aligned, just lean into that space and let's go from there.
Awesome. So my story, and before I go into it, we all have this word evolving. We always think that everything should be this uphill. We start our journey, whatever it is, with our career, with our health, and everything once we start should be this uphill. Everything is positive happening. But the truth is we all have obstacles along our journey. And it truly is our mindset and how we overcome these obstacles that really sets up where we're going to be in the world. And my obstacle started when I was very young. I was age 13. I bumped into a girl at school. She had lice all the time, and it triggered severe OCD for me to where I wouldn't even go back to school. I was put on antidepressants. I gained over 50 pounds in 1 year. On top of that, I had an underlying histamine issues going on, mast cell activation, that I did not know what it was. So I had eczema, rosacea all over my face. I had no confidence. People would call me fugly. So I was home. I would eat my feelings away. And I did, over the next few years, I was going to therapy and everything, get myself back to school. But I wanted to lose weight. People were making fun of me. So I went to a nutritionist, and she didn't want to put me on a diet because I was so young. So I started eating a bunch of Special K. The stuff is very low in calories, as you know. So my calories got very low. I got all the way down to 90 pounds, and people started complimenting me. They're like, you look thinner, you look good. I'm like, wow, people are complimenting me. Like, everyone's always made fun of me. It was a confidence booster. And that made me just really keep chasing the weight loss, no matter how tiny I was. And one day I woke up and I realized, you know what? This is just, I feel horrible. I'm in such a bad place. It's not about that number. And that was kind of the start of my journey. I saw all of these magazines were a thing back then. I saw all these women, they have beautiful backs, they were more bodybuilders. And I always wanted to build that, but I never believed in myself. So what I did was I actually weaned myself off of the medication. We'll be honest, I kind of just stopped it and didn't tell anybody. And I started just focusing on my weight training. And before I go into that, the little backstory, when I was overweight, I went to my first workout class and I didn't make it but 10 minutes. I was in the car feeling like I was going to throw up. I was in the same place. Like, when I started my fitness journey, it was a struggle for me. But back to where I was, I started my fitness journey and I said, I'm going to build my body and get it to this place where I look like one of those girls. I was comparing myself to others. So I started my bodybuilding journey, and I actually spent 8 years bulking up from 500 calories a day up to 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day. I was powerlifting, bodybuilding in the gym around 6 days a week. I got to where I was squatting 285 pounds with the bar. I felt so beast mode. I learned to kind of fall in love with the number on the weights versus the number on the scale. And even in between that, though, I did have a lot of other struggles. So you may hear this story, you may think, okay, she started lifting, she added in calories, she started gaining weight, but that's not the truth. In between that, I was going to college. I woke up one morning and I looked 6 months pregnant. I went to every GI doctor out there. I couldn't go to the bathroom. My stomach was in severe pain. Even jogging pants would hurt it. I finally, after months of trial and going to all these places, one person did a stool test, figured out I had 15 types of parasites. I had H. pylori. I had SIBO. I did raw vegan, fruitarian, keto, carnivore. I tried every diet out there. And I went to every doctor. I did the medications. I got in a really bad place to where I was getting very sick off the medication that the doctors were putting me on. And I hit my low. And during college, I took my health into my own hands. I was going to school to University of Tennessee to get my degree in kinesiology and my CSCS. I decided to graduate after that and go back for holistic nutrition and GAPS practitioner. And I created my own protocol and I healed myself when every doctor said nothing was wrong with me. It's normal to look 6 months pregnant. Take this medication. You have IBS, take Miralax, Dulcolax. And I took my health in my own hands. I created a protocol. I healed myself and I started building my social media. And I started it because I just wanted to showcase my journey. And I never thought that it would turn into something bigger. So my journey wasn't just about, I gained weight and I lost weight and had an eating disorder. It was in between then, I had all the gut issues. I had mast cell activation. I had SIBO. All of that reoccurred again when I got severe chronic stress and anxiety when COVID happened. I almost broke my back last year and I lost 14 pounds of muscle and had to build my body back up where it is. I had thyroid issues. My stress was so high and I was so unhealthy that I lost my period for 7 years and I got everything back naturally on no birth control. So I'm at that place where I truly believe that wherever we are on our journey, sometimes it takes getting to that low to realize, oh my God, this is what's going on with me. I need to make a step to go forward because no one can tell you what to do. No one can tell you you're in a place and you need to make a change. You have to come with that realization, but know that nothing is easy. And the people that have the biggest change sometimes have the biggest struggles. And I take it as a blessing because that struggle and all of those things has now allowed me to help over 900 individuals that are in the same shoes. Been to every doctor, severe chronic digestive issues, thyroid issues, Hashimoto's, people told they can't lose weight because all the hormone issues. And now they're transforming their body. They have their confidence back and they love themselves. And it's not through extremes. It's through really working on our health, our mindset, our stress, and creating this balance.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. There's so much in there that I feel like mirrors so much in life, and it mirrors business and all the struggles we experience. We have those rock bottom moments. And in that rock bottom moment is a choice point. It's like, am I going to live here? Am I going to unpack my bags? Or am I going to say, fuck that? I'm going to figure out what I need to actually do to create what other people around me are not able to create. So what I'm hearing you say is I created something where there was nothing else, where I tapped into all of the other experts that I could tap into. And so it really feels like part of your dharma, the reason, your purpose for coming here really has been how to allow women to really connect to their own health journey and create it in a way that's so empowering, where other people are saying, sorry, there's nothing left for you, where you're like, there's absolutely something left for you. And I'm here to tell you that here's what you can do to actually get yourself to the other side, to start to do the testing that you need to do to better understand how can I actually empower myself versus stepping into disempowered spaces and assuming that that's my story. I'm so grateful that you're sharing this journey and everything that it took to get you to where you're at today. And I'm curious if any of that has mirrored the business aspect, because what I'm hearing you say too is like part of the reason that you created your business was, one, this big experience that you had and wanting to just simply share it from the heart. I think that a lot of people this is what really sets apart like the businesses that are able to scale in such an incredible way, is when it's soul aligned. You can feel that in your energy. Like when you step into a room, when you talk about all of the things that you teach about, like your heart is in it. People want to play with that energy. So I would love to hear too from you when it comes to the business perspective. Did you have any struggles with your business? And if so, how did you overcome those to build what you've built today?
Absolutely. That's such a great question. So I want to start off by saying, for everyone that runs a business, when we chase the money and, I need to get the success, that's when it doesn't come. Mm-hmm. If you have a passion for something, no matter what, you are going to be successful. And you do need to believe that, because passion will bring the right people to you. And if you chase money and you chase, hey, where's the people and I'm going to fail and all this stuff, that's when people are pushed further and further away from you. So remember that you can be successful with anything as long as you have a passion to go after it. And with anything, it didn't come easy. So when I was actually trying to build I was sharing my story on Instagram, and my whole thing was, I'm going to post every single day so that I stay true to myself. I don't go on a fat loss when I'm trying to build my body. I don't fall back into my eating disorder. And my whole thing was, I'm going to work my butt off to build enough money so that I can launch my business, quit all my jobs, and do it full time. So I actually started a side business. I was running 20 different health food lines, Vital Proteins, Ancient Nutrition, doing all their field marketing, distribution, sales. I was working 7 days a week, around 12 hours a day, doing cold sales all through LA, on top of doing my social media, getting up at 4 a.m. and training and doing my bodybuilding and doing what it needed to get there. And I worked on that for at least 5 years. Once I hit 100K, I was so scared to launch my business. I was like, I'm going to fail. I had that whole mindset, and fear stands for false expectations appearing real. I keep telling myself that because it is the truth. I hired a business coach for like $500 because that was a little kick in the butt that I needed to actually do this. And what I did was he helped me, kind of gave me templates to set everything up. And I put it out there on my Instagram. And overnight, I had over 2,500 inquiries of people to work with me, and did a pre-launch 5 years ago. I launched my business on January 1st. Me and my mom were moving me from San Diego back to LA on the same day I launched it. And I was like, I couldn't believe this. And I was still so afraid to quit my other jobs. So I was doing that job, running my social media, doing all my clients. And it took me getting to that place where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and believing in myself to quit those and go full time. But here's the deal. When COVID hit, the gyms closed. I'm in fitness and nutrition. People did not want to pay. People didn't want to do nothing. I went from having my highest month to losing 95% of my clients just overnight. Like, I don't have a gym. I don't know what's going to happen. This is gone. I was outside with my ex and I was in tears. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I put my heart and soul the last 8 years, every single day, engaging, building my brand naturally, helping people. What do I do? And what I decided to do is, overnight, I sat there for 2 weeks straight. I made a 2-week at-home workout challenge. I love getting unique with all my workouts. I use bands. I made it so much fun. I made this whole ebook and I threw it on my social media. I said, hey, everyone, for free, do this. I'm going to have a Facebook group. I am here for you. With that, overnight, that was like my first way of building my email list. And I had over 4,000 people sign up for that challenge. And from there, I went from just working with bodybuilders, macros, and nutrition to actually working with tons of busy moms. My whole business transformed. And within 1 month, I had my highest business month ever. And I was like, wow. And then, because we think when we launch a business that we have to have everything perfect and it has to be, okay, this is my one direction, I'm always going to hit here. But the truth is we're always growing. We're always changing. My business has continued to change because then I started talking about my gut, my health journey. And then it went from macros and training to just doing at-home moms. And now I heal people. And I heal people with my transformation challenge. People that are in the worst place of their life, that are on Xanax, that can't lose weight, they've done keto, they don't care about, all through sharing my journey. So everything keeps changing. But even my business went from crushing it to all-time low to losing it. But I think they said Madonna reinvented herself 14 or 15 times, and that's how she was so successful. So passion fuels your business. If you put yourself out there and you share your story, people are going to come to you. And if you have the mindset when you're hit with something and you give yourself that 2 seconds of your pity party, and then you get your game plan together and you overcome it, you literally can do anything.
That's a really like, what was just coming through was like, how did you keep your sanity as you were reinventing yourself? Like when we have those, like the highest and then the lowest and then the highest and then the lowest, what did you do? I love part of what you just said was I let myself have my pity party. And then I got creative and created something that was going to allow for more people to step in. I dropped back into my heart. But is there anything else that you did either tactically, energetically, or healing from a healing perspective where you're like, okay, let me unpack this trigger. What is it? Let me move it. What else did you do to really keep your sanity when there was that big low and then it brought you back to the high?
I think a big thing was I did lose it for a little longer. I probably lost it for a good 2 weeks, because I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person that I'm a Virgo. So I almost I think that OCD came out of me kind of when I was a child. And I'm like, if something is down, this is my passion. I love helping people. I'm going to fix this. Like, I have to fix this. So I'm like, how can I better relate to people? How can I share? I have kinesiology. I love education. I've never been the one to post just like flexes and booty pictures and stuff. I like to always provide education when I put things out there. So I also I'm like, I really love talking about gut health and hormones. So when I was going through all this, I just started going live daily during COVID. And actually not daily, it was every Saturday. And people started tuning in. And then all of a sudden, I was living in LA. I was starting to work with celebrities during COVID. And people were recommending me to people all because they started hearing me talk about reverse dieting. They could relate and all of this. So I think when I was sharing, I'm like, if I'm giving all my energy out there, something has to come back in a positive way, because this is the truth. Excuse my language. Good shit happens to good people.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. If you're giving your heart and soul to something and you have that alignment and you're not just going after the money and everything, something positive is going to come back. And I really had to believe in it and know it was going to happen and just do everything that I could in a sense of putting the education, just like training, work smarter versus harder. Figure out how you can really connect to people so that you're not out there and you're able to dial in and look at what's working and then multiply on that so you can build things back up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so powerful what you're talking about, well, just all of that is just so, so, so powerful. And I'm so grateful for you sharing the ups and the downs, because that's the full journey, right? It's like, and we're always evolving. And I think that's also what's really powerful is talking about how you evolved your business to be in more alignment with your soul. So it's kind of like, we'll go through the seasons of our own life. But I think what's really beautiful about what you were just saying is you were like, I love to teach. So I brought more of those teaching elements back into it because I could do that all day. And that gives me the stamina and the energy to create a business by doing something that I could do all day. And so I think that's like another really key takeaway too for someone who's building their business, like really start to get in touch with what do you specifically love to do? Because sometimes we'll copy and paste a business coach's strategy, but it's like, that's their strategy for making money. They might be doing something that actually doesn't feel very good for you to do. And you're just kind of trying it. And you're like, why am I not getting the results? Maybe it's because it's not actually in alignment with your soul. And so I think that was so powerful of what you were saying is like, I started to follow my soul and all of a sudden all these people started flooding in because I followed what lit me up, and energy attracts energy. So what we're putting into our business is what we're going to start to receive from our business and what other people are going to pick up on. And so I think that's so powerful about being like, you know what? I started connecting with what do I love to do? I let myself have my moment, and then I showed up even more powerfully and people responded. And so my other question coming out of that is knowing, okay, you're waking up at 4 a.m., you're lifting, you're doing, all these things. How do you keep your vitality and your balance with building something that you built. So I think that would be something that could be really, really supportive, is maybe it is because you're doing something you love, so you've got the vitality, but what else have you done to really like increase your stamina so you can keep showing up for the people that you love?
I think a big thing for me is any of us running a business, we have a lot on our plate. And as simple as it sounds, I'm a person that I have my daily planner out with 6 a.m. all the way down to the end. And I have a few key elements. I never put more than 3 big, powerful things each day because I used to overload myself to where I would be like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to do 20 things at once, not productive. And my energy would just drain out. So I make sure that I have my whole schedule out in front of me. And when I look at that schedule, I am not overwhelmed, because I know if I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to be burning myself down and I'm not going to be able to show up my best self for everyone else. I make sure that I'm on point with my nutrition and everything. I work on I don't spend hours in the day meal prepping. I keep it simple. And I teach all my clients this is how to make fast, easy, healthy meals. But when I was dealing with all my health issues, really healing my gut, balancing my hormones, focusing on the sleep aspect and making sure the sleep is on point, and then also really dialing into the stress. Because if our sleep's not good, our stress is not good, and then we're not fueling our body properly, the gut-brain connection, more anxiety happens, then you're just got low energy and low vibes. So I would say having my schedule is a big thing, and having it planned out to where I'm not overwhelmed, but also making sure that I am providing my body with all of the nutrients that it needs to thrive. And then 1 day a week, I tell my clients this, you got to do one thing a week for you, because you say yes. And I was the yes girl. I said yes to everything. I highly recommend a book called Set Boundaries, Find Peace, because I would say yes to every person, no matter what it is, even when I was tired. And now I say yes when it is energetically aligned. And people don't hate you for that. People respect you for that, actually. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people would love to be doing the same thing for you, and they feel like they have to say yes to everything. So really taking your power back and knowing it's okay to say no to things that aren't aligned with you, and to put yourself first, because then you're able to be a better wife, a better mom, a better businesswoman. And that is really going to expand your business, because you, just like the plane, you put your mask on for the person next to you. You have to do things that are going to make you feel good and take care of yourself so you can do everything for everyone else, or else you're just going to be burning yourself to the floor and you're not going to have a sustainable business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. Like, I think something that really helped me too, when I was saying yes to everything, was like, people are getting a watered down version of me because I'm so spread thin that I'm not actually able to show up for the people that I deeply, deeply care about, because I'm saying yes to everything. So it's actually counterproductive. I think I'm being a people pleaser and that I'm doing all the things that people want me to do, but it's having me show up as a watered down, tired, exhausted version of me for my son, for my husband, for all of the people that I just so deeply care about, my clients or my friends, So it was this idea of like, when I connect to my body and say like, is this actually in alignment with me? Is this a yes, a full body yes? If it's not a full body yes, then it's a no. If I'm confused, it's a no. It's a pause. Wait until you're not confused. And so I've really had to challenge myself to say like, before just saying yes because someone else is excited, pause and really connect to, okay, but is this something that I want to do? Is this in alignment with my soul? So I really encourage people to just take a minute and be like, let me get back to you on that. Because I think sometimes we can be like really excited because someone else is excited. And then we say yes. And then we're like, oh, I'm not being in relationship with the future version of me, because now the future version of me actually has to do the thing that I don't really want to do. Right. And so that allows us to really connect to say, okay, let me really see, like, is this in alignment for me? And if it's not, use that energy to build something that is in alignment with you.
Yeah. I love that pause. I'm going to start inputting that.
Yes. Yeah. And the pause there's so much power in the pause, is what I always say. And so I'm curious too, when you think about, so how would you say that you've built the communities that you've built? So is there anything tactically that you've done that you've seen has been really successful? I know we've kind of touched upon those things like a little bit, but is there anything tactically you've done, energetically you've done? What have you done to build the communities that you have and the following that you have today?
I think 2 things is consistency and sharing. So no matter what, I actually am in all 5 social media platforms. I know it's a lot, but I post every single day. On my YouTube, I go live every single day talking gut health hormones. So people consistently see me putting the content out there, and they see me, I would say, live the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they don't look like what they do on the internet. I make
Yeah.
this a sustainable lifestyle. And I have people follow me for years and are like, you said you were going to do it and you did it and you're still doing it and you're still building. And then I would say sharing the story, because when I started, I was so scared to share my story, talk about my eating disorder, talk about all my gut health. I thought people would judge me. People would say, oh, she has issues. That means that she doesn't, she doesn't do her field. But in terms of sharing, people have been able to relate, and people therefore have built the trust. And I think that's the two things. If you're really able to connect to your audience by sharing your own personal story, and then just consistently doing everything you said and being present, they're going to see you, they're going to tap in, and they're going to want to be a part of that community too.
Yes. Powerful. So that consistency and really actually being true and like vulnerable, I do feel like that's so connecting. Like when I go live on my Instagram and I'm putting makeup on, I'm like, you're getting me fresh face, no filters. I'm just talking to you like you're in the bathroom with me. And it's so connecting for people because they're like, awesome. Like she's not wearing a filter. She's actually, this is how she's actually talking. I know that she didn't go back and edit this like a million times to make it sound good or whatever. It's like, I'm just speaking like I would to someone else. And I really feel like it brings that trust factor in, is like when we're just being ourselves and we're not adding in all the filters, right? Or all the things that kind of block us from not really being able to fully connect with other people. So I really love that you were able to get over that fear too of sharing your story, because I think that is something that a lot of people deal with when they're building their business, is they're like, well, let me just talk about the outcome. Let me just show the pictures from me like all healed. But that's not as connecting as like, bring me to the depths of your hardest moments and how you got through it. Like, let me meet you in the depths of what you experienced so that I know that you've been there before, because I don't want to hire someone who doesn't know what I'm going through. I want to hire someone who gets it. I want to hire someone who's like, yeah, I've been there and it was really hard. And here's how I got to the other side, is I actually was able to shift it. And I want to cut back on that time for you. I think that's why we build these businesses, is we want to save people time and money, and we want them to feel confident and excited and happy about life again. And so I'm just so excited that you're sharing about how you built what you built, because it really is so heart-centered. That's just who you are. And so I'm really grateful that you're just validating that for people that think that they have to have the perfect strategy or they have to do it a certain way because someone else is doing it that way. It really boils down to like your heart. How can you show up authentically, and how can you just share your truth from your heart-centered space? So I'm really grateful you validated that for so many people that may be on the cusp of, do I share the most intimate parts of me? And I think a powerful part of that is to know like kind of what you do. You're sharing it from that scarred perspective, right? Like Jen Gottlieb talks about this, and I think that's so powerful, is she talks about sharing from the scar versus the wound. And so I think that's really powerful. Is that something you feel like you use too, where you're like, okay, I've gotten to the other side, I'm sharing from the scar perspective? Or do you find that you're like, actually, I'm an open wound right now and I'm sharing from the depths of me and it's really connecting? I'm curious what your experience is of that.
I always I share with what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. So, and I also share with where other people are struggling. So if I see a lot of clients of mine struggling with specific things, like say they're struggling with weight loss, I'm doing all the low carbs. I've done keto, I've done carnivore. I'm going to share everything that I struggle with that too, so I can further help them. So I kind of look at, where my clients are struggling, where everyone else is. But because I've done everything, I've done the marathon running, the powerlifting, the bodybuilding, I have so many different ways I can connect with people with my stories.
Amazing.
I'm a little bit of an extremist.
I love it though, because I think that's what is so powerful, is that you really have gone all in on something. And so that's how people know that that's how you are in your business. Like you really go all in, like you pour your heart and soul into this. And I think that's what's so fun to play with when you're hiring someone, is like, I want to know their heart and soul is in it, and they're not just there to make money, right? And they're not just there to I'm not just a number to the person, right? And I do think that's what actually makes a business scalable, is that you're doing it from your heart and soul, because it gives you that vitality. And you're like, I'm living my purpose. I want to do this. I want to do this. It's so exciting to see the breakthroughs that people have. And I'm just so grateful that you found that, and that it's going to keep evolving as you evolve. And I think that's what's so beautiful and powerful about what you've created.
Thank you so much for that. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious if you could go back in time to, let's say, maybe the version of you that built the business, that it was starting to scale, you're starting to see some traction, but maybe you weren't at that ideal level of success that sometimes we have in our mind's eye. What advice would you give that version of you that started the business, but maybe she's saying, "Oh, I'm not there yet." What would you tell her?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm going to say that I'm my hardest critic. So when I wasn't in that place, I would probably be very hard on myself and I'd be like, okay, what can I do? Why am I not there yet? So I would tell myself, you know what? Take a deep breath, be present, know that you're doing everything aligned to get there right now. And it is going to come at that right time. You know, maybe this isn't the right time, but you're in a place of building. And when it is energetically aligned, that's when you're going to have your boom. So just stay consistent and keep moving forward because it's coming. Passion thrilled.
Yeah. So that consistency, even if there's those, and is there anything you do to support when you're showing up consistently, maybe like you're getting crickets? What would you say to the person that like they're leaning in, they're doing all the quote unquote right things, but something's not happening yet, or they're not seeing the impact that they want to make yet? What would you say?
So a different look on that is maybe take a step back, have some other people kind of look at your content, look at what you're putting out there, see how they're aligning with it, see if they have any other feedback to get an outside perspective. And, you know, because we see everything in one way. It's our business, it's our baby, and we almost could have blinders on sometimes. But sometimes I would even run my content, you know, send over a title or something to my family member and say, hey, what one do you like better? To see what aligns better and what would be more captivating, because there's always a way that we can improve. And maybe you are doing everything right, but maybe it's just not right to your ideal clientele or something. So maybe get an outside perspective or really look over what you're putting it out there at the same time.
I love that. I think that's really powerful. And let's say someone is in alignment, they're getting all the market research and they're still getting crickets. What if, is there like, have you noticed there was like a moment in time where you're like, I was actually right on the cusp of a breakthrough and I'm so glad I didn't give up? Did you ever have one of those moments in your business?
I think probably when my business started going down, when COVID happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a big one. And
Yeah.
to me, it's just, I'm a person. If something, I used to get so much anxiety over things when I couldn't have control of the situation. So I always ask myself, okay, what's the worst case scenario that's going to happen right now? I ain't going to get clients and I'm going to have to rebuild my business in another way. And what's the best case scenario? You know, I try something out and it works. So I always game plan, look at it in an outside perspective. But I've always been that type of person. I'm like, you know, you can do anything you set your mind to. Ask yourself, when was the last time you didn't get what you put your heart and soul into? And believe in yourself.
That one too. That just landed so deeply for the person that might be like, oh, I feel like I'm doing everything right. What in the world? Ask yourself the last time you put your heart and soul into something and it didn't work out. My guess is it probably worked out, or it worked out even better than you thought it might. Right? We think we want to control it. And it's like, all we're seeing is this much of the universe, this tiny little pinprick. And we're like, if I could just do this. And the universe is like, no, you got something so much bigger, so much bigger. Stop trying to hold it and control it. Like, open your grip. Because sometimes it feels like the universe is actually pruning us so that we can hold something even greater. And so it's that emotional mastery in those moments where we're just like, why is nothing happening? Just really start to lean into, okay, what is this teaching me? How can I grow? Because that's where our greatest breakthrough is. When we're experiencing the most resistance, our greatest breakthrough is right on the other side of it. So I always encourage people, like, just know that and start to unpack what are the stories I'm telling myself and shift those and continue to show up. Because so often we'll unpack our bags there. We're like, this is my life now. I guess it just sucks. And it's like, no, wait, no, pack your bags up, have your moment, and get your butt back on the road and serve. Serve from that heart-centered space, because you're making an impact. And when we drop back into our heart, it changes everything.
That's absolute truth right there.
Thank you so much. So where are you hanging out? How can people connect with you? I know you've got a freebie for people as well, which we'll drop in the show notes. Share with us a little bit more about that.
Awesome. So I have a free smoothie gut healing guide as well as a meal prep guide that she's going to throw below. All my favorite recipes, help you transform your body, but just feel good because food is nutrition. But come join me on my YouTube channel. Every single day, I'm on Instagram with crazy workouts that you'll love. I'm entertaining, but on my YouTube channel, I talk everything, gut, hormones, stress, mindset, everything that you need to transform your body. So come join me over there. I got a fun community and I just dropped so much education for free.
I love it. She truly does give from the heart. So absolutely give her a follow, drop into the show notes, click the link below. You're going to absolutely love everything that she gives to you because I feel like she always over delivers. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for being here with us. And for everyone else, your favorite moment, feel free to take a screenshot, tag both of us and share with us. We absolutely love to hear from you. Until next time.